The following program was produced under the influence.
Coming up on the Tall Mike Wine Podcast.
94.5 Cats.
Get the lead out. Brought back memories when you said
Get
that.
the lead out. Well, so Steve tells you he's a winemaker, and instead of saying, dude, why don't you get a real job? You said,
I want to do that.
that's an interesting job.
Yeah.
Glenn Fiona, which is the guy that's the brother of the other guy.
Rusty.
Yes.
You like how I said that? I want to do a whole podcast episode about the horse years in North Carolina.
Saunier.
Hard Saunier. Oh my God, he's going to do the hard Saunier. He didn't even stretch first.
And now, the Tall Mike Wine Podcast.
The cell phones have been silenced. The wine is poured. And just like that, the podcast begins. The Tall Mike Wine Podcast. The wine podcast that's not all about wine, because who would listen to that? I wouldn't. The wine podcast like no other. And I'm Mike Stone, a taller-than-average wine geek who is chatty, and the host of the Wine Podcast, heard in 91 countries on 6 continents and in 48 of these United States. Coast to coast, from Fredericksburg, Virginia to Valparaiso, Indiana. From Greater Sudbury, Ontario, Canada to Wan Chai. That's in Hong Kong. The Hong Kongers are tuned in. And thank you for tuning into the podcast. Be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the newest episodes when they happen. And if you're new here, scroll back and get yourself caught up. There's just about 5 years worth of podcast fun for you to enjoy. If you come here often and you just can't get enough, share it with a friend. This helps out a lot. Oh, and to keep the podcast commercial free, how about tossing in a few bucks a month as a sponsor? Click the support the show link in the show notes or go to tallmikewine.com to do that. And I thank you. Now, let's do the thing. This episode is coming to you not from Nicholson Ranch in Sonoma and not my dining room table in Novato, California, but from a winery in Washington State. Oh, yeah. I'm on vacation. A road trip. I have traveled the freeways of the West Coast to make it here, over the mountains and rivers, through the valleys. It's been nice. It's all led me to a town in the Yakima Valley called Zillah. And my guests are the proprietors of JB Neufeld Winery. The J is for Justin. The B is for Brooke. They're married and running a winery together. Good idea or bad idea? We're going to find out. Hey, you two, welcome to the podcast. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, this is fun.
Very cool.
Pretty cool. It's a beautiful sunny day in Zillah. I have just arrived off the road from Bend, Oregon, and had a wonderful, wonderful drive up here. I did make one wrong turn, so I was a little bit late, but we are now live and direct. Well, we're not live. This is all recorded. But let's get started. We're going to find out how it all happened, but first, let's discuss who does what. Justin, you are the winemaker.
Yep.
And Brooke, do you have an official title? I know you do a lot of things. What does it say on your business card?
I don't think I even have a business card.
Okay, Brooke doesn't have a business card. We need to get her a business card.
I would say she's the general manager.
Okay,
That's how
she's
I
the
would describe
general.
her. She's the GM.
The
like
general manager.
She really is the one in charge.
Okay, all right. Full disclosure, I'm a member of your wine club, and I've been a fan of your wines for a long time. And I know Brooke does a lot of the stuff with the wine club as far as like the emails that get composed and sent out, yes?
Yes, I do all of the emails. I also do all of the packaging and fulfillment for the wine club and for all other orders.
You put all the wines in the boxes?
I put all the wines in the boxes.
Do you write all the postcards?
I write all the postcards.
It's great. I get my wine and I get a personalized postcard.
She does write them. I'll write a couple.
That's generous.
Yeah, that is generous.
But it is my favorite part of the wine club.
Oh, well, because, yeah, you're connecting with the
Yes.
people that are buying the wine in your shipments every time.
Exactly. And I feel like it's a good opportunity just to say thank you.
All right. Justin, you were the winemaker at another winery and at some point started making a little wine on the side. When was that? How much did you make at first? What was your motivation? What were you thinking?
So our first vintage was 2008,
Okay.
and I had just started as head winemaker at Gilbert Cellars in
that's
Yakima.
just north of us in the town of Yakima.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I left there in 2022 to do JB full time. But I think our first vintage, I worked with 2 vineyards. It was just De Brule Vineyard and Arts Vineyard down in Red Mountain. And we only did Cabernet Sauvignon.
Right.
I want to say we did 120 cases.
Yep.
Right.
So you made 2 wines.
2 wines.
2 single vineyard cabs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
And I really wanted to showcase the terroir. So, like, De Brule Vineyard is a very unique site. Arts Vineyard is classic Red Mountain. And I just thought it'd be cool to, like, show people, hey, this is Yakima Valley fruit, but these are 2 very different Cabernets.
And you had those ideas because you were working at a winery where you weren't so much doing that?
Yeah, Gilbert was a lot of estate fruit. So
They have their own vineyards.
They had their own
Okay.
vineyard, and it was in Mattawa. And I think at that time we just had 1 vineyard, which is cool. You got to get creative with blending, and we had multiple varietals. So anytime it came to blending, you're say the Cabernet Sauvignon, you're thinking like, okay, it's all Cabernet from 1 vineyard. What can I do to make it a little bit more interesting? And you kind of think about the other varietals you have in your portfolio. So like Merlot or
The
Cabernet
other
Franc.
Bordeaux grapes.
Yeah, so you're kind of focusing on what are the strengths and weaknesses of my varieties, which is fun. Like that's what makes blending, that's like the artistic component of blending. But what I really wanted to understand was the terroir of the Yakima Valley. So my logic was, if I just work with 1 varietal, in this case Cabernet Sauvignon, it is going to force me to really focus on and understand the unique qualities of each site. Ultimately, the terroir of each site.
Sure. The Yakima Valley is pretty vast.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of diversity.
Yeah, I don't know how long it is, but
I want to say it's like 80 miles.
it goes
or
from
something.
Yakima all the way down past the Tri-Cities. Break out the map. So nowadays, JB Neufeld makes a bunch of great cabs, plus a few other reds, and now some whites. Now you're a little bigger than you were when you started at 125 cases.
Yeah.
How many cases is it now, approximately?
This always gets a little tricky.
Give me a rough
And
guesstimate.
I think he always hesitates because every year it's always more than I think it's
Yeah. I
supposed
don't
to be.
want to tell her. So I think.
Wait a minute. Honey, I made more wine.
Yes, exactly.
It's like guys who have guitars.
I bought another
guitar.
But this was a great deal. This was so good.
This was
Couldn't pass.
this. Oh, I need this one. Though.
I'm like a kid in the candy store when I'm out there looking at fruit during harvest, and it's like, oh my gosh,
So good.
gotta have that. Gotta
I can't-
try that.
I can't not work with this fruit.
Yeah.
It just looks amazing.
Yeah. So I would say JB is right around 4,500 cases.
Oh, okay. That's getting up there.
Yeah.
Because if you had asked me, I would have said we're under 3,000.
Yeah. No, we're right around 4.
Justin, you really should
4,500.
keep your general manager informed of these things. All right, now we're sitting high above the barrels in the barrel facility. This is the room where you make the wine, right?
Yes.
We're upstairs. It's kind of cool. We can look down on the barrels. I'm going to take pictures and put them on the Instagram. But there's no tasting room.
No.
So you sell your wine mostly into the distribution chain. How many states do you sell it to? Do you know? Uh-oh, they're both looking at each other like, I don't know.
Distribution wise, we are in about 7 states.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really pursued that. The great thing is most of the, I would say all the distributors we work with found our wines somewhere out in the wild.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, and
We've
they
been
liked
really
it.
lucky.
You didn't have to knock on their door. They
No.
knocked on your door.
And I have found like it's probably not the best strategy for growth, but we love all the distributors we work with. They are very supportive. They really get behind what we're doing, which I think is hard relationship to build. So I think it does help in that regard.
Especially because we don't have a dedicated salesperson who travels and does market visits.
A brand ambassador.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it
And
is-
so them already being into our wines really helps.
Yeah.
Maybe, Brooke, you could become the brand ambassador.
Doesn't
and
that
would
sound
be a
fun?
promotion.
Travel
From being
around.
general manager. Then you would be the face.
I
It'd
do
be a
like
good
the idea of
face.
It's a
visiting
good
some
face.
of our.
It's a good face.
Yeah.
Are there plans for a tasting room? If we're thinking 5 years, 10 years from now?
Yes. I think we need to. I think originally, because we had always worked out of someone else's winery, we just never had the opportunity to have our own tasting room.
Right.
And we've got 3 kids and it's just the 2 of us. So it just always seemed really difficult. But now that the kids are getting older and now that we have more of a direct to consumer base, I think it would be great to have a tasting room.
Yeah.
Well, and you're also in wine country.
Right.
There are people here every day driving around,
Right.
wanting to taste wine at different wineries, and some of them want to go somewhere they've never heard of. If you guys open a tasting room, you'll all of a sudden be like, oh, never heard of that one.
Yeah.
That is so
Yeah.
true.
All right?
I will say part of me is a little reluctant though, because most of the tastings we do are with wine club members, and we go into the barrel room. I tip a barrel over and we taste the wines on a barrel, and I think it's a fun experience.
Right.
And it's a great way for me. Like Brooke could name every wine club member, and I don't have as much of a connection.
Right.
So I love it because I can meet them and they tell me about where they've had the wines, because we're so in it, we lose track of where our wine is and how people are enjoying it.
But you can still have a tasting room that's small.
Yeah.
Intimate.
Yeah.
Just have a barrel.
Yeah.
I've tasted wine in Calistoga on a card table in a room kind of like this where they just had the card table, and they're open for business. You walk in and you're like, oh, where's the tasting bar? Like, it's this table right here.
See, that feels doable.
Play
That's
some
all you
cards
need.
and
That's
drink
all
some
you
wine.
need. That's all you need. All right, let's do some tasting. Justin, tell me what's in this glass. This wine didn't come out of a bottle. Where'd it come from?
This came out of tank. So this is our 2025 Sauvignon Blanc.
Whoa, it's fresh.
Yes, very fresh, which is always kind of it's a fun phase to try the wine because the aromatics will evolve and change quite a bit between now and even bottling. It's just very vibrant, very bright. The acidity is sharp, kind of angular, and that really softens and rounds out.
My first impression on this when I sipped it was it feels kind of thick.
Yeah,
Is it going to thin out and become a little more crisp,
probably.
a little lighter?
Yeah, but
But it's not, it hasn't been fined or filtered or anything, so
Yeah.
it's cloudy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So
So
is it in a metal tank, a cement tank?
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel tank.
Stainless
okay.
steel.
And it's going to stay in there for how long?
My goal is to have it bottled early February.
Okay.
I'll start prepping it for bottling, hopefully in a couple weeks.
Are you doing anything to the tank while it's in there? Are you going to stir up the lees or anything?
Not
like
with
that?
this wine. So
Okay.
the style I want for this wine is not lees contact.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be fresh, bright, fruit-driven, crisp. I want to get it off the lees as quick as I can.
Okay. And this is the same Sauvignon Blanc that you make every year that you started making
Correct.
a few years back.
Yeah.
Because Brooke wanted a white wine.
I did. Thank you for remembering that.
I do. I love the
It
story.
becomes 105 degrees some days here in Yakima, and you honestly just can't have a cab sauv at that temperature.
Exactly. No, I'm going to take a picture of the glass with the slightly cloudy.
And that
wine.
weight that it is bone dry.
Mm-hmm.
And people always comment on the weight that our Sauv Blanc has. Honestly, I don't know what to attribute it to. The fermentation, it does not get a lot of lees contact. So I don't know where the weight is
Okay.
coming from.
There's just a density to it.
yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it kind of coats your tongue.
In this case, I think it's probably because it just came out of the tank and it's not finished.
The acid will come out a little bit more, but I think
Okay.
the weight
Okay.
will probably stay.
And then this will be next summer? You'll release this?
Yeah, we'll release
Yeah.
this
Okay.
in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Probably
April.
earlier than that.
Well, with whenever the wine club comes out
That's
in the
right.
spring, right?
yeah. Yes.
All right. Now that you're here on the podcast officially, I'm now going to bestow upon you your official stack of Tall Mike Wine
Yay.
podcast
Coasters.
coasters
Thank you.
Right on.
to have around the house or have here at the winery to prop up a table leg that's wobbling a little bit.
No, this is going straight on our table.
And if you would
Save
like your
these for when we
own,
have our actual tasting.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. I can send you more.
Oh, good.
I can send you more. If you would like your very own set of official Tall Mike Wine coasters, please email me, tallmikewine@gmail.com. They'll liven up your holiday table. We can start talking about that stuff now.
It's time.
Right.
Okay, let's go back to your roots and figure out how this came to be. Brooke, you're from Whidbey Island. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, from the west side of the mountains.
Grew up on an island in the northern waters of the Puget Sound.
Right.
Were your parents wine drinkers?
You know, my dad did enjoy drinking wine, and my mom drank beer.
That's a little reverse,
It is a little
reverse of the
reverse what you would
stereotype.
typically
So your
know.
mom drank beer, your dad drank wine. What kind of wines was your dad drinking? Was he drinking?
I kind of remember.
Was there something special?
Columbia Crest.
Okay, all right.
That is my biggest memory.
Well, that's one of the biggies in
Yes.
the early years of
I
Washington.
can still picture that in our fridge. And then as I grew up, then he started getting more into wine. He is a huge fan of Betts.
They're over in Walla Walla, right? Betts?
I think they're in Woodinville.
Oh, Woodinville.
Bob Betts he's a bit of he is an icon.
He's an icon. He's a master of wine.
Yes.
Making wine.
Yes.
He sold his winery though.
He did.
Yeah.
Justin really looks up to
Yeah.
Mr. Betts.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for him.
Hey, it's good to have idols. You know?
Yes, he is an idol. Sometimes when we're in a tricky position and we don't know what to do, we just try to imagine. We would say, what would Bob Betts do?
WWBD.
What would Bob do?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And then we go with that.
You don't have him on speed dial?
Unfortunately, no.
That's too bad.
It's not a reciprocal relationship.
Oh, okay. He probably has a few people who look at him like, oh, yeah, he's
Yes.
the guy.
Yes,
He's the guy.
yeah. I'm
So,
sure
Brooke,
he is.
when did you venture out into the world and to where?
So when I left the island, I did not go far. I went to the University of Washington
Okay.
for college,
Okay.
and that's where I met Justin.
Ah, okay. And Justin, you're from here.
I am. I'm from Natchez.
Natchez, which is over there?
Yeah, northwest
Okay.
of Yakima.
Over there then.
proper.
Wait, where's Ciel? Over
Your
there.
first
Ciel
point.
is
Yeah,
over there.
that was
Okay.
the correct. The first time was
Ciel and
correct.
Natchez are really close.
You see, I lived here at one point in my life. In the early 1990s, I moved here from the west side of the state to take a job at the radio station that played all the rock songs.
Cats.
So you were here, you grew up here. I wonder where our paths might have crossed
I love thinking
on
about
the
that.
radio. I was here from 1992. I got here on Halloween Day, 1992. And I was here until April of 1995. Where were you during that time period? Were you here? Were you
I
listening
was
to
here.
the radio?
Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
you listened to me.
Oh,
on the
I'm
radio.
sure I did.
His family only listened to Cats.
Oh, really?
Yes.
94.5 Cats.
I
Just
am
the
sure
let out. Oh my
actually
God.
They still listen
that
to
like
Cats.
brought back memories when you said
Get
that.
the let out. Or every year you wait to celebrate the month of Rocktober.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, during those days, Justin would have been in middle school and high school.
Oh, it would have been perfect for him.
Yeah.
Then you went off to the University of Washington and you met Brooke. Was that early on or was that?
Yeah,
Really?
we met
Right
really
away?
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys were just kids then.
I know.
I
Just
know.
babies.
I
know.
know. I look at my 15-year-old son now and I'm like, when your mother and I met,
was
we
only-
were only a few years older than you are,
Wild.
which is wild.
Don't scare him like
I
that.
know.
Well, I
scares
don't say
me.
it to him.
What was the plan when you went to the UW?
I didn't have a plan.
Okay, but you went.
I loved astronomy.
Okay.
I loved physics. I thought I was going to get into astronomy. Did not get into astronomy.
The stars.
Yeah.
were you a fan
Yeah.
of Carl Sagan?
Oh my gosh. That was my nickname in high school. My friends all called me Carl Sagan.
He's Carl Sagan. He talks about billions and billions. Yes. For me, growing up just across the Puget Sound from the University of Washington, I had more friends that went to Central and to Western and to Washington State.
Yeah.
I maybe had this many friends who went to the University of Washington. It seemed to me, and this is me at 17, 18-year-old, really not understanding what college is or what it does.
Yeah.
It just seemed to me like the University of Washington was for other people. So what made you choose the University of Washington?
We went there for a field trip in high school, and none of my friends growing up went to UW. And I felt like UW was more academic. I
Okay.
felt like it had a stronger, it seemed to me it was stronger in the sciences. Maybe like sophomore, freshman year of high school, I really got into the sciences.
Okay.
I just felt like that was the smart choice.
Were you intimidated by the size of the school? Because that's a
goodness.
big school.
Well, so I was in such a small bubble, I didn't even know how big of a school it was. I just thought,
You're hanging with your STEM friends.
yeah, I just thought, yeah, I'm going to go to school and study science here.
Right, okay,
and
okay.
had no idea how big it was.
I will say, when I walked into my first class class, there were, I think, 700 kids in that class. And my graduating class of high school was 100.
Would
and
be
it was
Island?
the largest graduating class
Oh
ever.
my God.
And I thought, I am not going to make it here. It's so big.
So you guys met in college. Where'd you go on your first date?
The place I consider our first date,
I'd be
and I'll
interested
see
to
what
hear
you
this.
say.
Okay.
Little Italian restaurant.
Mama Molina's.
Mama Molina's.
It was a really sweet little Italian restaurant, and it had a theater up above it.
Yeah.
It was right across from Tubbs.
Right across. No, Tubbs was a
I felt
block
like it was
up.
close.
What
I
is
don't like.
Tubbs?
Yeah, we won't go there.
Okay.
I've never been inside, but it's a hot tub facility on Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Go there
I've never
and you
been
pay
there.
money and you sit in a hot tub?
Oh, yeah, that's what you do. I don't
Yeah.
think it
Those
exists
kinds of
anymore.
places.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of those places.
I see. Okay.
But Mama Molina's was not like
Just
Tubbs.
to showcase how fancy this place was.
But it was like a wonderful Italian family that owned it, and he would
Play
come
piano.
out, he'd play piano and sing,
Yep.
and the food was delicious. I didn't know anything about food or wine really
No.
at that
And that was the
point.
first time we would start ordering wine.
Yeah.
I even saved all of the labels.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I just assumed they were very fancy.
I'm sure they were. I'm sure that they
My
were.
memory
College,
is that they were
a young-
absolutely delicious.
Yeah, young college.
Isn't that amazing? You think about
budget.
yourself at that point in your life and what you thought was the best thing
Right.
ever,
Right.
and you're being so sophisticated.
Yes,
Yeah.
very. But the food was delicious.
The food
I think
was
even
great.
if I went back today,
So Justin is going to look at the stars, and now you're doing this. So at some point, you got derailed.
Well, I never
happened?
was really on the tracks, I would say.
Okay.
So I didn't get derailed, but
Okay.
I was a horrible student. I just kind of took classes that sounded interesting. And then I think it was my junior year, maybe even my senior year, I was like, oh, I got to graduate. So I went to a counselor.
I've got to stack some things up here
Yeah.
so I can have a degree.
Yes.
Yeah. Long story short, the closest degree I was to getting was molecular biology. So I said, okay, that's my major. And then she said, okay, these are the classes you need to take. And there was a choice I had. And one of the classes was a course in mycology,
Okay.
which is the study of the fungi kingdom, and yeast are part of that kingdom.
Okay.
And the professor there took us on a field trip to Columbia Winery
Okay. In Woodinville.
in Woodinville.
Yeah.
I started talking to the winemaker, and it just clicked. And I
What
got
clicked? How
bugged.
what did he say? What was the thing?
I think for me, again, I'm very much somebody that lives in a bubble and doesn't maybe think that much. I don't know. Just the fact that what I found fascinating was somebody makes wine for a living. It's an agricultural product. I like wine. I don't know anything about it. I was kind of getting tired of living in Seattle. Both Brooke and I did grow up in rural areas, and I was starting to realize I think I was missing that.
Sure. You're both from smaller areas.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're both kind of country kids.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so I started, UW didn't offer a program in viticulture or enology. So I started reading on my own, and I just really fell in love with the enological part of winemaking, but also the viticultural aspect of it. So I liked that there is some science there, not heavy science. I mean, it can be. If you get into academia, they can do some pretty cool stuff.
Sure. But it's still an art.
It's still an art.
They have to have a nice balance.
Yeah.
The
That's
that's what
science
I was going
and the
to
art
pipe in.
Yeah.
of winemaking.
And that's what I really liked about it is I felt like it was a dynamic relationship between that science and art and would always be challenging as a result.
And I feel like Justin also comes from a long line of carpenters.
Okay.
And so I
Craft.
I feel like he also really appreciates the idea of creating something.
Artisans.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, the idea of making a living by offering services is foreign to me, but having something that is concrete that I can put on a table or look at and say, I built that, I
Right.
made that.
Right.
That makes more sense to me.
Okay. So then what happened after you had this great conversation with the guy at Columbia? Was that David Lake?
No.
That would have been cool.
Steve.
And
I don't remember Steve's last name.
David Lake is a somewhat legendary figure in the infancy of the Washington wine industry.
Yes.
He was the winemaker at Columbia
Yep.
Yes.
Winery.
Yep. I did have the privilege of meeting him out in a vineyard randomly. He was
that's
out
awesome.
sampling, and I got to talk to him. But
So Steve tells you he's a winemaker, and instead of saying, dude, why don't you get a real job? You said,
I want to do that.
that's an interesting job.
yeah.
Okay, so then what was the next step?
The next step was I so close to finishing my degree, so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need to finish my degree.
Eye on the prize.
Yeah.
Focus.
I don't think Brooke would ever be with me if I need to get my
It's a college dropout.
shit together here. Yeah, college dropout.
What's your
that
mom
wants
gonna
to make
think?
wine? I mean, that's not a
Already a
smart
few red flags.
smart investment.
But you like wine.
I do.
So I finished my degree. I realized I wanted to move back to the Yakima area.
You had an internship.
I had an internship. Yeah. So a family friend introduced me to the winemaker Doug Gore at Columbia Crest.
Okay.
And he helped.
Columbia Crest.
I
Yeah.
know it.
Whoa.
Yeah, he helped me get in an internship
My dad
over
was
at
proud.
I'm sure he was.
Michel.
Justin, can you give me the employee discount?
Right?
So I had an internship at San Michel. I didn't even know anything, but I liked it, feeling I had working there. So then I moved back. Most of the wine grapes in Washington State are grown on Eastern Washington.
Yes.
And I wanted to be involved in the grape growing process. Everything I was learning put so much emphasis on this concept of wine growing. You start making wine in the vineyard before it even comes into the winery.
Yeah.
And so I knew I wanted to be closer to the fruit.
Okay.
So
So then you moved back, and who did you go to work for immediately?
I worked for a winery called Silver Lake Winery. I got a
Okay.
job in the lab, very green. I mean, still really at that point didn't know much about wine.
Sure, but you were approaching this not from the angle of like, I'm going to go now and study wine at another college or another program.
No.
You were like, I'm going to go back to Yakima and get a job at a winery.
Yeah.
You can do it that way too. You have this brain full of all this chemical knowledge and
Right.
all this lab stuff that's very, very easy to just unplug and plug in at a winery. If somebody says, well, this is what we do for this, and that's, and you're like,
And it did kind of work like that. And so I would just pillage all of the online research. UC Davis has enormous amounts of really applicable research. WSU has some great stuff. So I would just read all the research I could, apply it to what I was physically doing, and learn that way.
so how long did you stay there?
4 years, which
Okay.
at the time seemed like forever.
I've been here forever, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 years when you're in
Yeah.
your 20s is forever.
Yeah.
It really is.
It was.
So you ended up at Gilbert Cellars.
Yep.
Was that after the first
That was
job?
because of Brooke.
What?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, I feel like it was. We were trying to figure out, did we want to go to Walla Walla?
Oh,
or
okay.
Where
So
to be?
What year would have this been?
This would have been.
2007?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had been...
He was the winemaker. Silver Lake owned a winery in Walla Walla.
Okay.
And so Justin had moved down to Walla Walla to make their wine
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
What was that winery called?
Glen Fiona.
Glen Fiona, which is the guy that's the brother of the other guy.
Rusty.
You like how I said that?
But we all knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, I knew. Hey, the fact that you knew is impressive, honestly.
The guy.
Yeah.
He was the brother
Yes.
of that other guy.
That's him.
Yep.
That was that winery.
We're talking about the Figgins brothers.
Yes.
One of whom was considered to be the guy who made the wine at one of the very first cult wineries here in Washington, Leonetti.
Yep.
So his brother Rusty was making the other kind of wine, the Rhone varietals, at Glen Fiona. Whatever happened to him?
I don't know what happened there. Rusty had some partners that he started Glen Fiona with, and I think they just kind of had a breakup and went
Okay.
their separate ways. The partners then sold the brand to Silver Lake Winery, and they really wanted to move operations, keep them in Walla Walla. So they sent me down there to the facility, and I was winemaker there for a year and a half.
So you lived there for a while.
Well, this is where it got tricky. And
You call
why
that
he could
living?
blame me
Yeah.
or not. I had come to Yakima because Justin was like, I love it. This is where I want to be.
Were you guys married by that time?
No.
No. Okay.
It was
But you moved over
trying.
here.
So I moved over here.
Okay.
I had kind of abandoned what I was doing before. And so when I moved over here, I didn't know what I was going to do for work. And
What were you doing before,
well,
Brooke?
so when I graduated,
She was very talented.
No, I know.
when I graduated,
Thanks for
from
letting us know.
I originally was just planning on kind of staying in academia, and then I
okay.
took a couple years off, and grew up with a horse, and me and the horse went out to North Carolina for a few years.
Wow.
And Justin didn't think the wine scene in North Carolina was going to blow up, so
I want to do a whole podcast episode about the horse years in North Carolina.
the lost years now.
Yeah.
I just went with my horse
We
to
did.
North Carolina.
Just loaded him up and headed on
Wait, what was
east.
your area of study at the University of Washington?
I was anthropology.
She was a really good student, though.
So you may have just stayed there and been all bookish and
Yes.
published things
Yes.
and taught, but instead you came to Yakima.
And then I realized when you're involved with somebody in the wine industry, like you don't get to then move around. You have to be somewhere where they're growing wine.
Those vines have roots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're kind of like
You are
them.
rooted with
You're
them
kind of like them.
completely.
So you came over and then he goes to Walla Walla.
And I got a teaching certificate.
Okay.
And there were no teaching jobs in Walla Walla. Not a one. Not there was one opening and it was for music education. And so I got a job in Wapato. And so
Wapato, which is over there.
on the reservation over.
Okay. Yeah. I passed through it on the way here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would have. And so we lived in the Tri-Cities, and I commuted to Wapato, and Justin commuted to Walla Walla.
Oh, that's kind of in between.
Yeah, it worked. It worked for a year. And then I did get a job in Walla Walla at the same time that Justin got offered a job here in Yakima.
Yeah. But
timing.
it was
know.
Brooke's prompting to reach out to Yakima.
We had some friends. Their family ran a fruit business, and like us, just gotten done with college, moved back home, and in one of the acquisitions that their family had a vineyard on it. And so the son was like, hey, I just went to college in California. You know what we should do is have our own winery.
Yes.
So him and his brother started the winery there. And since we were just casual friends, they would reach out to Justin for advice and help when it came time to deciding whether we were going to stay in Walla Walla or do something else.
So Brooke is smarter than I am. She's more strategic.
I already knew that.
Yeah. She's more strategic. And she said, reach out to them. This was the Gilberts.
And it's not special between you two. Like anytime I know people as a couple, I know the woman is smarter.
Yeah.
That's just biology. That's natural selection. It's centuries
science.
and centuries of
Evolution.
It's just the way it is.
I feel like I'm just looking at my feet and where to put the next one.
Exactly.
Whereas she's like looking over the ridge and like where we need to go. But anyway, she said, hey, you should reach out to the Gilberts before we move to Walla Walla. Because I think by that point we did know we wanted to have our own brand. So I spoke with Sean Gilbert, and his uncle, Kurt Gilbert, said, hey, would I be able to make wine under my own label? And they said yes.
So they wanted you to come as their winemaker, and then as a condition of that, you said, I'd like to also make
Yes.
wine. So
Exactly.
You were like on it.
Yeah, well, wasn't
Yes.
my idea. Go
No?
figure.
Oh, okay. There's a Svengali.
But
We need to have our own label. Come on.
I know he wanted
well, I
to.
knew I wanted to have a label, but
Believe me, I never would have pushed for this.
asking the Gilberts if I could start it there was not my idea. That was Brooke's.
Okay.
They said yes, and we thought, let's do it. They're a great family. We knew they were invested. So I felt like it was a smart choice, and it was. The Gilbert family was great to us.
And now you have your own brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here we are at your winery.
Yes.
And here I am sipping your wine. Isn't that nice? Let's talk about this wine that's in the glass right now. What we have here is the JB Neufeld 2023 Counoise. Do you pronounce the S at the end?
I don't.
I don't either. Because
yeah.
I try and be French.
Yeah.
I do. But I know you're not supposed to.
Do you say Counoise?
I do. I
That's
know.
fine too. I think here in America we can kind of do what we want
Yeah.
to do.
For better or worse.
So this is from the Ciel de Cheval vineyard, which is a big vineyard on Red Mountain in the Tri-Cities. So tell me about this wine, Justin.
So Counoise, it's a Rhone varietal.
It makes an appearance in the Chateauneuf de Pape.
Yes.
Yes. It's typically a really big berry, very
Okay.
aromatic, very bright. And if you make 100% Counoise, it's very light bodied. Like
Okay.
almost think of it as a heavy rosé.
Okay.
Because
when you
those
said
berries,
big berries, I've been sitting here for 10 minutes sipping this wine. I'm thinking it is very juicy.
Yeah.
It's like really fruity.
That's exactly how I describe it. It's
Okay.
really fruity
It's
wine.
a fruit bomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were trying to do. So the vineyard manager at Ciel de Cheval, Cade, had the idea of doing a hard Saunier on this. So we bled out.
Explain.
Yeah, so Saunier.
Hard Saunier. Oh my God, he's going to do the hard Saunier.
Yeah.
He didn't even stretch first.
The idea is when,
So the word Saunier
I don't
comes
know.
from the Latin sanguine, which means to bleed.
That's right.
So you're bleeding off
You're bleeding
some
off
of the juice to make
Yeah.
the wine a little
more concentrated.
Yeah. And you could use that juice that you bleed off and make a rosé.
You could.
That's one way to make a rosé.
That's one way to make
I got a
rosé.
little wine.
The problem with those rosés is they're typically high sugar. So you're going to have a high alcohol rosé with low acid typically.
It's a good first date wine. Is what you're saying.
It's a good first date wine. Exactly. But anyway, so we did a hard Saunier on this, and I really liked it. It was, for me, being 100% Counoise, I just feel like the concentration of it is great. You know, it's still not a big wine.
Dare I say it's a bit simple.
Yeah.
But I think that might be by design,
Yeah.
right?
Counoise is sort of a simple varietal. It is known
Okay.
for being more
Oh,
fruit.
poor Counoise.
I know. It's always blended away.
Always blended away. But that's kind of what you use it for, is that pop. That
Yeah.
fruit pop.
Well, when I sip this wine by itself, I immediately think about the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. You know, it's one of those wines that's going to go great with the turkey or before dinner with all the like cheese and little bites you're going to have before you have Thanksgiving dinner.
That's exactly how I feel. Because Justin does make such big, complex Cabernets.
Right, he's a
that
cab
it's
guy.
been
Yeah.
fun to have a lighter, fruitier,
yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
It's delicious. I need to give a quick shout out to Russell Seaton. He's our newest sponsor, chipping in a few bucks a month to keep the podcast commercial free. And Russell and I actually knew each other in a previous life when we both lived in Spokane and dabbled in the theater.
Ooh,
We were in a couple shows together
that's awesome.
in Spokane. Now, here's a twist. Russell is a funeral director. So he's still working with makeup. And directing. And making sure the show goes on. And you can sponsor the show as well for $3 a month or more if you think the podcast is worth it. Click the support the show link in the show notes, just right there on your phone. Do it now. Do it now. See what happens. Okay, here we are in Zillah. That's JB Neufeld with J and B Neufeld. Do you guys know the story behind the name Zillah?
I think it was the daughter
Okay.
of the person who homesteaded here first, or or the mayor.
There was
Tell me.
all of these things are
Kind of
accurate,
true.
but I have the complete story.
Tell me.
Yeah,
the
I don't
official.
know the complete story, so I'm anxious to hear it.
All right, Zillah was founded in 1891 following the completion of the Sunnyside Canal project, an irrigation scheme delivering water from the Yakima River to the arid lower Yakima Valley. Walter Granger, superintendent of the canal company, chose the town site in 1892. The town was named for Zillah Oakes, daughter of Northern Pacific Railway President Thomas Fletcher Oakes, who had financed the canal's construction. She was the youngest member of an expedition to scout possible town sites. Allegedly, the town was named for Zillah after she had fallen into a stream with the party's wagon and had to be consoled by her father. Granger housed the headquarters of the Washington Irrigation Company in Zillah, giving it economical advantages for a time. He also made his residency in Zillah, becoming its mayor after retiring from the irrigation company.
I love that. I did not know that.
Zillah was a girl whose wagon went in the river.
To make her
know
feel
that.
better, she got a town named
we'll
after
name the
her.
town after you.
Yes.
Okay, we'll name the town.
Don't cry.
Justin, harvest is complete.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Yes.
What can you tell me about the grapes this year?
Well, it's never done.
Get geeky on us. What's one thing about this season that stands out? One thing you would say, like, oh, this was the year that...
The thing that stands out to me I said this about the 22 vintage, but for some reason, I feel like this year is better. The whites and the reds are all really solid. So it was a hot vintage, and typically in a hot vintage, certain cooler climate varieties, they just don't perform as well. But this year, I felt like the whites across the board, the aromatic profiles are really pretty without being overripe.
Okay.
I don't know if that was just a timing thing or not. So really, really pretty wines. They had good acid. pHs were low. Acids were kind of low too, which is weird. I was freaking out because it looked like hot, warm. Everything was just going to come rushing in.
Mm-hmm.
We had a bit of a rush early on with some of your like Syrah, Merlot.
Starting about when?
Early September.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is
Which
pretty
is
good.
early.
Yeah.
That is
It was. I picked Merlot 3 weeks earlier than I normally do.
Okay.
And Syrah. And so I was just like, oh shit, here it comes. The flood is going to come.
Sure.
And it didn't. I had about a week where things just sort of, the
Mellowed
plants
out.
stopped. Cabernet, you'll see do that every year. It brings sugars on and flavors, and then it sort of stalls out. But the stall this year happened, which was great because it was still warm.
Right.
And I don't think the plants like that late warm.
And you were worried because the flavors weren't necessarily matching where your numbers were. So
Yeah.
I felt like you had to pick a lot more on flavors and less on numbers than you normally do.
Yeah. The sugars.
That's where the art and the science
That's
are battling it out.
Yeah, yeah. The sugars came on pretty quick, but then they stopped. And then the flavors finally caught up. And so when we did pick, varieties like Cabernet Sauvignon and things like that, they had good ripe flavors, not overripe. The tannin profile is a riper tannin. Sometimes tannin, I feel like it can have a greener character on cooler vintages. I don't know how else to describe it.
Okay.
It can have a sort of an underripe, slightly more astringent, borderline bitter edge to it. Riper it is, it's just softer, less green, so to speak. And it was a riper tannin profile this year. So great vintage. I'm very happy with
Awesome.
quality all around.
Awesome. Let me just test your memory a little bit.
Oh, I like this.
First year you did the JB Neufeld wine was
2008.
2008. So that's 8, 18, 23. So that's over 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. In your memory of every vintage between then and now, what's your favorite?
Oh, that's
he
easy.
knows.
Oh, he does. Oh, he's already
You gotta
got
ask
it.
him something harder than
Really?
that.
Okay. No,
But
no.
you can't- I
most
can't-
winemakers are like, well, this was this, and this one was good. Kind of like when I asked you
Right.
earlier, which one of your kids is your favorite? Like, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. So tell me, why?
If you would include 2007, it would have changed my answer.
Oh, okay.
Because 2007 was an awesome vintage.
This is before you started
But we
making
did
your
not have
own
make
wine.
JB.
Well, I made it at Gilbert.
Right.
Yeah. So between 2008 and the present, 2012 was easily
yes.
the best.
2012 is definitely considered by a lot of people to be like vintage of the century.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Washington.
Yeah. I remember going out. I was still learning then. I'm still learning now, but I really was trying to focus. And so I was tasting fruit early on.
Mm-hmm.
So I would taste fruit at Veraison just because I wanted to get an idea of, okay, what is underripe flavor?
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to monitor its progress sensory wise, not necessarily analytically, but in my mouth. I wanted to see how it changes as it ripens, the flavor profile. I'd been doing this for quite a while. And then in 2012, I remember at Veraison tasting it, and it's green, it's underripe.
Yeah.
But I remember tasting it and thinking, this is way less green than any other vintage I've seen.
Okay.
At that point. And I remember that year I thought, okay, I think this is going to be a good year. And so I didn't talk to Brooke.
I was going to say, I know what happened this
Yeah.
harvest.
I bought more fruit because I thought if we're going to grow the brand,
Now's
let's
the
grow it
time.
on a good vintage.
I need another guitar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But a good guitar.
Yeah.
I bought a lot more fruit that year. I did my cash flow and I was like, okay, it's going to be tight, but we'll do it.
Well, I mean, it's a good strategy. If you think about it, this guy who knows what's coming is going to be like,
I guess. I
Maybe we
also
should
had
buy.
a 2-year-old and was pregnant
Oh, okay. All right.
at this vintage.
oh,
So
real
it was
life always
probably
gets in the way.
Best that he didn't consult me.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, we kind of grew that year. And when harvest finally did come around, what made 2012 so special was every year, like Brooke said earlier, you're waiting for something. You're waiting for the acid to drop out. You're waiting for the sugars to come up, maybe on a cool vintage. 2012 was a vintage when it was time to pick. You went out, you tasted the fruit, and you're like, the flavors are there. This fruit is ready to be picked. And when you ran the analysis, the chemistry was right where you wanted it. So you basically just picked it and brought it in.
It's the best of all possible scenarios.
And the thing that
it makes for easy winemaking.
It makes for easy winemaking, makes for better wine. Right. And what was so cool about that vintage was that it was average. It wasn't a hot vintage. It wasn't a cool vintage. We didn't have these heat spikes, but it was just sort of a balanced growing season.
Okay, so 2012.
2012.
Do you still have any of those wines left?
No.
I don't think so.
They're all gone.
We don't have any.
No.
We couldn't afford to keep it, so we had to sell it all.
We have to sell the wine. God damn it. All right. Well, that's all the questions I have for you.
Okay. Awesome. Great.
Have you been on many podcasts, either of you?
No,
this is our first.
What? How did you enjoy it?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating.
I like listening to your answers.
The mic is a little intimidating.
Questions.
You know, at least we're not in a studio.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're in your winery. It's fun.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go to dinner.
Yeah.
All right.
I was going to say, and you can taste some wines before you go.
Oh, well, of course I will. The Tall Mike Wine Podcast was conceived and is written, produced, edited, and maintained by yours truly. To see behind the scenes, follow me on Instagram. There are some nice travel shots going up now since I'm road tripping. Also, the wines I drink, the food I eat, and Olive. That's my cat. Oh. If you ever wonder about anything, you have a question about wine, the podcast, or anything, drop me an email, tallmikewine@gmail.com. And if you give me your address, I'll mail you some official Tall Mike Wine Podcast coasters. That wraps up another episode. What a great time hanging out with the Neufelds. Justin and Brooke, J and B in Zillah. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you'll know about the next episode, which will be coming soon. Until then, I'm Mike Stone. Keep swirling, keep sniffing, keep sipping. Cheers.